It's Architecture Week, and actually, I love this question. Now, first, I am going to state what I'm going to give as information is New Jersey specific. So, in the great state of New Jersey, the Garden State, architects and engineers, or architects can do anything an engineer can do up to a point. So, when it comes to site design, architects can do any site design an engineer can do up to a 5-acre site. For buildings, architects can generally do all the structural that an engineer could do. It just do you, and this question really points to it in the second half. As long as you're confident that you're comfortable with it. So when it comes to wood framing, I can do that all day. I'm comfortable with that. Structural steel, I am comfortable with it up until, like, for small residential, when I'm dealing with load. Generally, I like to think it's like if I'm passing a W12 in a beam size, I don't like to get into it. Not for me. And especially if like that W12 has 3 numbers after it and its weight, not for me. Then I'm leaving that to someone else, unless it's like a 2-story building or a 2 or 2.5 story wood frame building. That's it. That's my limit. So it's really what you're comfortable. I can size out footings all day. I've actually made, and maybe one day I'll share these with the world, but I don't know if I'm ready to. Some really great. Oh, come on. If you've ever driven with a Jersey driver, you know exactly what that was. I've got some really great spreadsheets that I've made, Excel formulas where I can plug in some specifics, and it'll help me like figure out rebar size, footing sizes, depths, etc. for point load based on point loads, so on and so forth. Moments being offset, eccentric footing, stuff like that. So, and then even for like stormwater design, I've made some pretty decent spreadsheets for that too. I'm thinking about taking them and turning them into like little plugins on web apps that, because like NDS has one for their Flowwell systems, which is pretty good, but it doesn't really work with a modified rational method in New Jersey. It doesn't actually show you its math too, so like it's really hard to use that to justify your math. I've got one for orifice sizing, but I don't have one for pipe sizing. But I usually just grab that straight out of the National Standard Plumbing Code, because they have that in a section in there. But yeah, long story short, architects can do what engineers can do. Engineers can do some of the things architects can do, depending on, again, the building size, type, shape. What architects can do, anything engineers can do up to a limit in New Jersey. And I also very much think, like, I don't expect every architect to be able to do these things, right? Like, some architects, like, let me even back up. Like, I went to a tech school, so, and I went there specifically because when I went, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was between architecture, something dealing with math. I loved math, and something with music, because I love music, and I just wasn't sure. And I fell in love. And it's funny that I stayed in architecture when, like, a lot of the things I love are really around, like, space planning, structural design, civil engineering sort of things. I will say I'm an okay designer. I am not the guy you go to when you want, like, something really unique out there. That is not easy for me. I've got people in the office who are amazing designers, but it's not me. Some of my clients like some of my designs, which is surprising to me every time. But if you need me to make sure your design stands and it's, all the detailing of it works, all day, I could detail the mess out of it. That's it. And also, another thing, there are a lot of great tools, free and otherwise, that exist to help you do the structural design stuff if you're staying in, like, light frame construction. If you're staying in the wood frame, engineered wood frame stuff. And Weyerhaeuser makes a great one. MyTech makes a great one. I don't remember if MyTech is free. Oh God, what's the company that makes Power Beam? Georgia Pacific? Is that right? They have a great structural tool. Theirs is a little more wonky. Like you size it out a little differently, and they have a little weird numbering system in there, but it does a really good job. I think Weyerhaeuser is the most user-friendly. It'll even size out Simpson and MyTech hangers and connections and stuff like that. Who else has some good stuff? If you want to pay a little bit, Steel Beam Calculator, really good, simple to use. They even, you actually don't have to know your loads the same way, because they put the loads in you just select hey, I'm doing a residential attic, a residential this, you pop those loads onto the thing, and there's some things you need to know, like understanding what a tributary width is, understanding what the difference between a point load and a uniform load and tapered loads. But all of it's there's a lot out there that you can use. And then at the very end of this, there are Eastern Lumber. Eastern Lumber will size out all your framing for you as long as you're buying their product. There's a contractor I know. I give him my frame, and it actually works out really well, because I'll give them my framing plan in CAD and everything, and then they'll redo it and essentially size it out with their pieces, their lumber, their hangers. They'll give material list. They'll give all the hangers, all the connections, everything, and they'll deliver to the to the site for the framers to use, all ready to go. And all you have to do is approve their selection. And so often I've had some really good conversations with them. They're really easy to work with, because sometimes there are cases where you just want something sturdier than what is code minimum. Like if I'm putting a washing machine on a second floor, I don't want code minimum, because that'll vibrate the joist when the washing machine starts jumping around. So I usually like to do something a little heftier there. Bathtubs, making sure you have your clearances for your drains and stuff, making sure you have something that can catch the edge of that tub when you drop 1,000 pounds of water and people into it. Those sort of things. So there's a lot of ways to skin that cat. So let's see. Now, I will also say, if you're not comfortable with this sort of work, doing structural design, don't. It's actually more expensive. When I tell my insurance company I do structural footing, structural design for light frame construction, they're like, "Oh, cool. We're going to charge you more, because that's expensive. That's more dangerous." So your insurance costs automatically go up just because you do that.